Start that now. There we go. Okay, so this week we're continuing on our spinal health series. So we've looked at twisting the spine, we've looked at the neck last week, we looked at elongating and lengthening the spine the first week back. And so this week is back bends, which is one of my favorite things to do personally. And today we're going to focus on a little bit of core at the beginning, just to waken up those abdominal muscles. Those help us to support the back as we start coming into our back bends. And the other thing we're going to look at is actually a lot looking at the hips and trying to open up the hips a bit. And that's because one of the key muscles in our back bending is our psoas muscle. It's a really big muscle, and it starts about halfway down the back, and it goes all the way from here, and then it kind of comes down and over the hips, and then it attaches in at the top of the hip joint. So we're going to look at lengthening through the muscles, the tendons there, before we get into kind of our big back bend of the session. So we'll make a start on our mats and sitting nice and upright, bringing the feet in front of us, flat on the floor. And we're going to take some cat-cows, but also starting to engage the abdominals. So from here, hands around the knees, feet hip distance, toes pointing forwards, knees pointing up. Let's inhale, roll the shoulders up, and exhale them back and down. One more inhale, rolling them up, exhale, bringing them down. So from here, we're going to start moving the spine. So we're going to inhale and bring our chest forwards towards the legs, and then exhale. We're going to lean back. So keep the hands around the knees, but you're going to feel it start to bite in the abdominals. Inhale, bring the chest in and up, reach it through the arms towards the knees. Exhale, rounding the spine slightly, start to lean back in that pelvis, tilt the pelvis. Inhale, coming up, rolling the shoulders back. Exhale, rounding into the lower back and coming maybe a little further back. Okay, so now we can inhale and maybe taking the hands off the knees. Exhale, come back. You'll feel maybe the slight shake, the abdominals starting to really engage there. Let's inhale back up and exhale, bring it back. So stay open across the chest, across the collarbones. Inhale up, exhale, bring it back. Feel for that biting point when you start to get just a little shake. So up to you how far you come back. Inhale, coming up, this time option to reach the arms up and overhead. And then exhale, come back again. Maybe coming a little lower. Inhale, coming up, reaching those arms up, and exhale, coming back, keeping the gaze forwards. Inhale, reaching up, and exhale, coming back. We're going to do two more. Last one, and it's completely an option. As we inhale, bring the arms up. You can see, can we lift the feet up? This is tough, so if you don't want to go here, that's all good. Exhale, can you bring it back? Low boat, looking forwards, legs hover. Inhale, bring it up. Any of the other variations are good. Exhale, low boat. And inhale, up, release, well done. That's the hard stuff over. That's the core warmed up now. So we're now going to take ourselves to a wall or a door. Normally I show you against the sofa, but I actually need the wall to put my feet against. So I'm going to come over here. You don't need to bring your mat. You might want to, up to you. What we're going to do is we're going to place our feet onto that wall, and then we're going to lie down. So keep the knees bent, feet pressing on the wall, and then lie yourselves back down to the floor. The feet are hip distance, toes pointing up, and just lift your head up, look down the body, and make sure here that you're straight. So you can see your feet, that you can see strong the middle of the body. That's where the gap of the feet are. Return the head to the floor. So keep those knees bent. And we're going to use this now to find a straight leg in the tadasana. So we're going to be lying down in our mountain pose. I want you to have your hands on the floor, palms down. And then with the knees bent, let's start to push the feet into the wall and allow the legs to straighten. And you're going to feel the ground pulls the tailbone underneath you, and it also pulls the shoulder blades down as well. So staying here, your feet, your legs should be active, pressing into the floor. This is our supine tadasana, and we're using the wall as our support. What you should feel here is that really strong connection of the tailbone, the shoulders being drawn down. Let's bend the knees again, just a little bit, shuffle in a little closer to the wall and feel that again. So push into the feet, start to straighten the legs, feel the feedback on the floor, how it encourages the shoulders away from the ears, the length through the tailbone. Push the hands into the floor, active arms here. See if you can straighten the arms, lift the elbows off the floor. Even though we're lying down, it's an active position. And just feel the feedback of the floor. What can it tell you about your body, the imbalances that we all have? Draw your focus inwards. Just notice, is one arm, is more of that arm touching the floor than the other arm? Are the hips even? What can you feel in this position? From here, we're going to inhale and bring the arms up in front of, up above us. Point the palms away. And on the next inhale, we're going to draw those arms all the way up and overhead, bringing them to the floor nice and slowly. Palms facing up. You can widen the arms if you want more space for the shoulders. And you might have noticed one hand came down way before the other. You're going to try again. On the next inhale, bring the arms up vertical, palms facing away. And exhale, lowering the arms over the head, strong straight arms. Try and get the backs of the hands to touch at the same time. And reach through the arms, through the fingertips. Feel the feet still pressing into the wall here. And we'll inhale the arms up, and then exhale, bring them down to the side. We're going to keep the left foot pressing into the floor, and then we're going to inhale and bring that right knee in. So we're drawing that right knee in towards the chest, hands around the shin. And this is brilliant for helping to find some release into the lower back. So our hip, our right hip, is in deep, deep flexion here. And what that does is it allows the low back more freedom to press into the floor. So enjoy that release. Keeping the back of the neck long. Gaze up at the ceiling above. Now we're going to stretch that right foot up to the ceiling. Bring the hands interlaced behind the right thigh. And straighten the leg. So keep the shoulders down. The leg doesn't need to be fully straight. Have a soft bend. And flex that right foot. Active, engaged leg here. We're going to point the right toes and then flex the foot. Point and flex. Point and flex. And then take a little circle with the ankle, the foot. Go the other way. Releasing there. Bending that right knee in. And then bringing it down and back to the wall. Soft bend into the knees. Shuffle your bum in a little to the wall. And then reestablish your supine tadasana. Straighten the leg. Feel that length through the spine here. And then we'll inhale, draw that left knee in this time. Hands around the shin. Keep pushing that right foot into the wall. We're trying to keep that right leg as much either on the floor or as close to the floor as we can here. That leg is active. It's rooting us down. It's helping us to keep long through the tailbone. Draw that left knee in to the chest. And then straighten the left leg. Left foot comes up. Flexing the foot to begin with. Wrapping the hands behind the left thigh. Again, remember you can have that bend into the knee if you like. Both shoulders down, shoulder blades touching the floor, and the shoulders away from the ears. Looking up at the foot above. Let's point the left toes, flex the foot, point and flex, point, flex, rotate the ankle, little circles with the foot, take it the other way. And releasing there, bend that left knee in. Bring the left leg down, and then we're going to roll onto our bellies. So bring yourself a little bit away from the wall. Start looking at our back bends now. And we don't want anything touching the feet here. It's just a little bit of distance between you and the wall. Bring the forehead onto the floor. Palms alongside the hips. This time the palms are facing up. Backs of the hands are on the floor. The feet, tops of the feet are on the floor. And we're pointing the feet directly back. From here, we will be lifting into locust. Half locust first of all, which means just lifting the head, the chest, and then we'll lift the legs after. Before we do that, we don't want to be bending, lifting from our low back. We want to lift the chest as the focus, and we're going to keep the core really nice and engaged to support that lower back and avoid any crunching into that. So forehead on the floor, think first about the legs. Point the toes and try to lift the kneecaps off the floor. So the legs are working strongly here. Then clench the bum. That bum is really going to help protect the lower back as well. And finally, draw that belly button up as if you could get it off the floor. So that core is also really engaged, really supporting lower back. Now from here, as we inhale, keep the hands on the floor, lifting the head, taking the gaze forwards. So the head, the chest lifts off the floor, rolling those shoulders back and down. Think about the active legs, the lifted legs, the glutes, the bum squeezing, and that belly button squeezing in and up. Releasing there. Let it all go. We'll do that again. This time we're going to bring the legs into it as well. So a full Shalabasana, full locust pose. So starting again, pointing the toes, engaging the legs, lifting the knees, squeezing the bum, drawing that belly button in, pressing the back of the hands into the floor. And as we inhale, this time lifting the head, the chest, and the feet up. Point those toes, trying to keep the legs contained, maybe hip distance apart. Squeeze the bum, draw the shoulders back and down, shoulder blades drawing together behind. Maybe the gaze comes a little more forwards now. One more breath here. Exhale, release, coming back down, maybe shifting the hips side to side, wiggling it out. Bring the hands under the shoulders and keep those elbows pinned in to the side of the body. We're going to come up again. Same thing, we're going to lift the head, the chest, the legs, but this time the hands are going to be under the shoulders. So they're going to help a little bit more, get us a little higher. Forehead on the floor, point the toes, activate the legs, squeeze the bum, draw that belly button up to the spine. And then on the next inhale, press into the hands, lifting the head, the legs, looking forwards, elbows into the side. The hands should not be used very much at all here. So let's practice lifting them off the floor. Put them back down. Notice they're helpful, but they're not the base of this pose. One more inhale here. And exhale, releasing it off. Take the hands in front, onto the forehead. Place the forehead on the hands. And rock the hips side to side. Well done. Push yourself up to hands and knees. And then let's come back. Take a child's pose. So hands come forwards, forehead on the floor. The hips come back to the heels. And if your hips aren't touching the heels, it can be really good to have a pillow between them. Give you a little more support. Child's pose. Shalabasana. Nice counter pose to our back bend. Pushing the hands into the floor and hips back onto the heels. And let the forehead rest on the floor. And the front body coming down onto the thighs or between the thighs. Let's inhale, coming up again to our all fours, removing your pillow. And we're going to look at our final back bend, preparing for that. So this is going to be camel pose. It's quite a deep back bend and it's a kneeling back bend. So I'll show you what camel pose looks like. Traditionally, we're coming all the way back to the heels and we lift. The gaze actually comes behind and then we can come up. We're not going to be going there today. It's a deep back bend. I want to keep this light, accessible. It's just our lunchtime. That's not the norm sort of back bend that we'll do here. So we're going to feel a flavor of that. So the first thing we're going to do is not a back bend at all. It's actually the legs. So we want to think about reaching back. That requires the legs to really fire up, to keep us, to hold us up here. So we're going to do some lean backs, coming onto your knees, bring the arms in front. There is no back bend in this. So squeeze the bum, pull the belly button to the spine. And then as we exhale, we're going to lean back. Do you feel that in your thighs? Yeah, it's great, isn't it? Coming up. Exhale, leaning back. We're not holding very long. Just feel the effort in those thighs. Inhale, coming up. Last one, exhale. Come back. This time we're going to hold for 5. No back bends here. Squeeze the bum. This is 3, 2, look between the hands, and 1. Coming up. Well done. Good. So now we're going to take our pillow and come back to our wall. So I'm going to come here because I can use this and it's easier for you guys to see, but come back to your wall that you were using before. Bring your pillow. And I was talking about the psoas before and how we wanted to work into these hips and kind of loosen this off so it gives the back muscles more space, more stretch in them as well. We're going to take ourselves in front of our wall and we're going to place our pillow right up at our wall. Then we're going to come into a kneeling position, bring the right knee back onto our pillow in front of our wall. The left foot steps forwards and then we come up. You are going to have to investigate how your body feels today. How far do you want to go in this? So stay down here at first and just feel this. Feel how it is on the knee. Feel how it is in that front thigh, because it is a big stretch. And if you're a cyclist or a runner, it can be a lot. So it's fine to be down here. It's also fine if you want to bring the knee further away from the wall. Keep that foot pressing into the wall and then come up with the hands on the thigh. You're still going to get that stretch. Lots of people find it very uncomfortable on the foot. So if you want to put another pillow or a t-shirt or something around the foot, wrap it around the foot, or even a sock, just put a sock on. That'll help with that. Otherwise, we're looking to bring that knee as close to the wall as we can bear, and then staying down here or coming up Feel this stretch, and it's intense. I want you to think about lengthening the tailbone down. So we're not looking to be here and flexing into that lower back. Want to draw up with the abdominals, pull the pubic bone up, and lengthen through the tailbone. The hands can rest on the thigh or down by the side. Just another breath or so. If you're already out of it, no worries. This is one that takes a while. Let's release there. Carefully bring both knees forwards and then take it to the other side. Starting this time, bringing that left knee back, close to or not close to the wall. Then we come up onto that right foot. And again, stay here. You can focus on bringing the hips down if you like. Also a lovely stretch through the front hip flexor and thigh. Or if you want to try coming upright, just see how you feel. When you teach this in a class, there's lots of wonderful noises coming out of everyone. So I'm sure that is happening back at home as well, and you're just missing out on that joy. Hands can be along the side of the body. And remember, drawing up through the pubic bone. Use those abdominals to lengthen the tailbone as well. Shoulders back and down. And smile. And that's the best thing to do with these poses that are difficult there. Smile through it. What harm can that do? One more breath. Exhale. Bring those hands forwards. Come down onto both knees and walk it out nice and gently. Good. Now don't move away from your wall. We need it one more time, and you're going to need your pillow again. So here's where we're going to try our camel variations. So that pose that I showed before, that deep back bend, got some wonderful variations, which we're going to look at. And the first step, going to be taking our pillow in line with our hips. Doesn't matter how big or small it is, as long as you've got something between the hips and your wall. So I'm using this as my wall. So this is where you want to be first. Your nose is probably right up to your wall. Squeezing the glutes here. So squeeze the bum, engaging that, the whole back side, which is going to help draw the tailbone down. We keep the bend out of the lower back. We want the bend to be coming from the chest first, front body opener, rather than a lower back bend. From here, we're going to take the hands into the sacrum, fingers pointing down, roll the shoulders back, squeeze the elbows behind. And let's inhale, lift the chest and lean back. And you should feel with those glutes engaged. This is more about the stretch you get through the chest, the abdominals. Maybe the gaze stays forwards. Maybe it starts to move towards the ceiling. Squeezing that bum. Exhale, release. Take the hands down. We're going to do that again. So still keeping those hips pressing forwards. So that's the point. We're not leaning back. We're actually keeping, you might find that it's, you're really having to squeeze the bum to keep that pillow in the wall. It's going to get harder as we start reaching back. So bring the hands into the sacrum. Do the same thing again. Inhale, lifting the chest, squeezing those elbows behind, maybe coming a little deeper, but keep squeezing the bum, the hips forwards into that pillow. Don't let that pillow fall. And inhale, come up. Well done. Tucking the toes. We're going to go for a little reach back, one hand at a time. So again, hands into the sacrum. Squeeze the bum, push the hips forwards and keep them there. As you inhale, the right arm up, and then exhale, bring that right hand back to the heel. Keep those hips pressing forwards, and maybe grabbing the heel. Maybe just staying back here, reaching back. Inhale, coming back to center, left arm. Inhale, left arm comes up, circle it around, Grabbing for that left heel, squeeze the bum, push the hips forwards. The gaze can come back to that left hand. And let's inhale, climbing back up, releasing there. So moving the pillow and then coming back to our mats where we'll take a nice counter pose, a forwards fold in our diamond pose. So soles of the feet come together, good distance away from the groin, knees falling out. And then we're just going to bring our hands wherever they come, on the feet, on the shins. Start to lean forwards. So here, let the whole back round. Let the head come down towards those feet. And direct the breath into the back body. Feeling the expansion through the side ribs. Pushing the breath into the back ribs. And using that. So we're releasing the spine, any sort of compression that might have happened through our back bends. This is how we undo that with our forwards folds. Releasing there. Coming up to sit. Maybe grabbing your pillow again, placing it under the hips, and finding a comfortable seated position. So that might be cross-legged, might be kneeling, might be legs out in front. You choose. Hands beside the hips, bringing ourselves upright, drawing tall through the spine, through the crown of the head. Feel for that openness across the chest that we had in our back bends. But still rooting down through the tailbone. Core engaged. Take a couple of breaths here with the arms moving. We're going to inhale through the nose, lift the arms up. And exhale, side out through the mouth, bring the arms down. 2 more, inhale. Fill the lungs, hold at the top. Exhale, side out. 1 more, inhale. Reaching up. Exhale. Let it go. Bring the hands onto the thighs, palms facing up. Softening the gaze to the floor. Or closing the eyes if that's comfortable for you. How do you feel at the end of your practice? Notice any changes in the body or the mind. Bring the hands to heart center. Showing yourself gratitude now for coming to your mat today, for taking time for yourself. And my thanks to you for sharing your practice with me. I'll see everyone next week. I think we'll be moving on to something other than the spine. So I'm thinking either hips or shoulders. I might put a little poll out on Yammer. If anyone's got a preference, they can let me know. Have a great Wednesday afternoon, everyone.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you.